the Patriots' offensive line is not good.
Just don't play like C.J. Stroud or Jarrett Stidham.
The difference in this game is going to come down to Matt Stafford playing better than Sam Darnold.
I think Stafford, like you said, I think he's going to win MVP.
Hello and welcome to Ain't That Our Ball. We are one step away from the Super Bowl. We just got the championship games to get through. I'm David Scott. Alongside me is NFL expert Ryan Sanudo. Ryan, we're almost there.
Yeah, we got 4 teams left. Each winner is going to go to the Super Bowl, and all these teams I really like, so let's get things started.
All right, we'll start with the first game of the Sunday window. We got the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. This one was shaping up to be a really exciting game until, of course, Bo Nix goes down with that broken ankle. He's got surgery. He's not going to play. Really devastating stuff for him. What is this game looking like now without him?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I think the Vegas line, it's like 6 points, going to the Patriots now all of a sudden because of the Bo Nix injury. Jarrett Stidham is starting quarterback for Denver. We don't know that much about him, really. I mean, the last game that he started was back in 2023. He had a couple, I think 4 touchdowns in the preseason, but let's be honest, that's the preseason. They're facing a lot of backups in those games, so we don't know too much about him. We just got, for the Broncos' sake, they got to hope Sean Payton, dials up good plays, makes plays, easy for Jarrett Stidham, but it's not going to be easy against that Patriots defense.
Yeah, I think a lot in the short game. Heavy on the run game, check down passes, RPOs, just make the game simple for Jarrett Stidham. He's got 4 starts in his career. He's barely played the game of football. He's appeared in like 20 or so games, but actual starts under his belt, not many of them. And now he's the first quarterback ever to start their first game of the season in the championship game. So rare air for him. He's got a bit of a Philly legend, Nick Foles, in his corner, so that's something, but I don't know if we're going to see the same kind of miracle run from him as we did Nick Foles.
Yeah, obviously you referred to, Nick Foles leading his team to a victory against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, 7-8 years ago. So the Patriots don't have great history against quarterbacks like that. Even 10 years ago against Peyton Manning, he was like a corpse of himself, and he wasn't that good in that game, but they still found a way to win, Denver. So, history is on the Broncos side, but at the same time, we're in 2026 right now, and that Patriots defense is really good top to bottom, but especially the rush defense. I think that's the thing that Denver might have to try to do in this game to help out Jarrett Stidham, but the Patriots, they've been just really good in terms of that department, so it won't be easy against that defensive line. Milton Williams, Barmore, they have guys that are really good up front, so they're going to have to throw a lot to, I think, Cortland Sutton in this game, because we still know Pat Bryant's going to play in this game, Troy Franklin, they might play, but you don't know yet, so I think Cortland Sutton's got to get a ton of, throws in this game in order for the Denver Broncos to be close in this game.
Yeah, the run game certainly has not been great for the Broncos in the playoffs. R.J. Harvey was not spectacular in that divisional game. They still got the win. There's a chance J.K. Dobbins could make it back for this game. His practice window's open. He's been practicing in limited fashion, but I'm not sure. It looks touch and go. I would lean towards him not playing, and obviously I'm sure they're prepping as if he's not going to play. And yeah, that defensive front for the Patriots is very solid. So they got their work cut out for them. The passing game with Cortland Sutton was not really there in the divisional round game. They started passing to him at the end of the game, which helped them get the win. But they weren't really, Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton weren't connecting for much of that game. Start connecting with them early in this game, that should be pretty solid. But also, the Patriots secondary is nothing to scoff at. They got Christian Gonzalez back there. They're pretty solid, so I would figure Gonzalez is going to be on Sutton for most of this game. So they're going to make it tough on Stidham in any factor of the game.
Yeah, the thing that's going to help the Denver Broncos offense is the defense, because I really like the defense there. They have a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks. Drake May is good against pressure, but then we saw him against Houston, 4 or 5 fumbles, I think, in the game, an interception. Yes, he did have 3 touchdowns, but the offense as a whole, the whole game, was very inconsistent, obviously, against a really good defense. You're going to be seeing one of the best defenses in Denver as well. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring type game. I think we're going to see points in the Seahawks-Rams game, but this one, it might be, I'm going to say a little bit of ugly football here and there. So Drake May obviously is a good quarterback, but we've seen him get sacked a lot, throughout the year. That's his one thing, and obviously the fumbles play a part too. So I trust the Patriots offense a little bit more, obviously, than the Broncos, especially with Stidham at quarterback, but at the same time, that Broncos defense I really like in this game.
Yeah, I think if C.J. Stroud wasn't in that divisional game against Drake May, we would see a lot more flack against May because he frankly played a terrible game. He fumbled the ball everywhere. He had that bad interception. If it was not for C.J. Stroud throwing 4 interceptions, the Patriots do not win that football game. So defense really bailing him out. I could see that happening again in this game just based on the quarterback play that we're probably going to see from the Broncos. But the Broncos defense is going to put a similar kind of pressure on May. They're going to have a similar, just overbearing presence in the pocket. The secondary is very good. You got You got
Surtain.
Surtain out there. So it's not going to be easy for Drake May. He's going to have to learn from what he did last week, maybe get the ball out a lot quicker, try and get on the run more. He's got good legs. He's got to use those. So depending on the weather conditions, what the secondary looks like, what the kind of pressure that he's facing, I think this could be really tough for him. And the Patriots' offensive line is not good.
It's not good, yeah. And Campbell, the left side, had their struggles, so I see it being similar in this game. The Broncos' edge rush game is really good. Benito, they got a lot of good players on the defensive line. I think the factor could be Drake May, like you said, using his legs compared to Stidham. We don't know a lot about him, and frankly, I don't think he can really move that well. So that's the thing that what I really liked about Bo Nix is that he can move. He could be out of the pocket, scramble. I don't think Stidham can do that type of thing. I think the Patriots, I give them the slight edge in this game. I think it's going to be a close game. I feel like the line, I don't really agree with it. I think it's like 4.5, 5.5. I would give it like 2, maybe 2.5 for the Patriots. So I think this is going to be a really close game. But at the same time, I just don't trust Stidham compared to Drake May.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's going to be closer than expected. If Bo Nix is playing in this game, I would lean with the Broncos, I think, based on how everything matches up. They're a better team than the Patriots if Bo Nix is on the field. Bo Nix is not on the field in this game. You got to completely turn what you're looking at upside down. I would also go with you on the Patriots. It's just the easier way to pick when you're going against a backup quarterback. The Broncos, if you want to get to the Super Bowl, that defense has to step up and go crazy. You have to think of their previous Super Bowl teams with players like Von Miller out there. Step up. Put pressure on Drake May, make him fumble 5 more times. You got to expect the just perfect scenario for the defense. If they don't play absolutely perfectly, the Patriots are going to win this game. You never play perfect, so I'm going to lean with the Patriots as
Just
well.
don't play like C.J. Stroud or Jarrett Stidham. Just be, just a competent quarterback. The easy throws. I feel like Sean Payton, I really like the way his offense runs. And they're not that, crazy of an offense. I think they were decent to good offense with Bo Nix. They don't go downfield that much. I think Stidham, all he has to do is just be, capable, just quick throws, I think, against that pass rush. And for, the Patriots, obviously, it's just being the Patriots. I mean, they're 8-0 on the road, so that's why I even give them an even bigger edge in this game. So they've just been winning games, and they've been, getting a lot of takeaways, obviously, with C.J. Stroud. So I give the edge to the Patriots. They like to run the football, too. We didn't talk too much about that. I think Stevenson, he's been a big surprise. I feel like, obviously, the fumbles were a big thing last year. He stepped up, and I think Henderson, obviously, have as well. So I think Stevenson's going to have a good game in this game as well.
Yeah, for the Broncos and Stidham, just play safe football. Don't take any big risks. Try to limit the turnovers. If you got 1 turnover or less, you're going to have a much better chance. Now, Stidham is, in his career, he has 8 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. So not a great ratio to go into this game, but play safe football, keep it easy. That's going to give you the best chance to win this one. Yeah, so 2 votes for the Patriots in this one. We will now move on to our NFC matchup of the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. This one probably projects to be the much more exciting game in terms of offense. These 2 teams have met twice. They've had 2 pretty solid games. They've each won one of those games, and they were both pretty good games. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in this game as well. The Rams and the Seahawks both looked pretty good. The Seahawks looked exceptional against the 49ers, but some big injury concerns there on defense and such. They were coming into it pretty banged up, and they lost even more players as the game went on. The Rams kind of got into a slugfest with both the Panthers and the Bears, but they ended up getting the win in both of those games. So I think this is going to be really exciting. The Rams have maybe a little more momentum than the Seahawks do, but the Seahawks are coming off a 40-point win. Yep. So there's a lot to talk about here, but what we do know is 2 really, really good offenses.
2 really good offenses, and both teams are pretty good at defense, too. I think the Seahawks have the best defense in the league. So top to bottom, all around, these 2 rosters are one of the best in the league. That's why I think whoever wins this game is going to win the Super Bowl. Starting with the Rams, the offense has just been firing all cylinders. Okay, they haven't been the same probably like the midseason. I think they were like one of the best offenses in the league. Obviously, they didn't have a great game against Chicago. But let's be honest, that those conditions weren't easy, especially for a Rams team that's not used to those type of conditions, wintry conditions. So the offense I really like in this game. Puka Nacua, I think, is going to go off in this matchup. I think the Seahawks cornerbacks are the weakness of this unit as a whole. I feel like everything else I really like. The cornerbacks are a little bit iffy. And the Rams, same thing. I think the defense is one of the best in the league. Again, the corners, I feel like JSN can ball out too in this game. So I think this is going to be a really good game. I think we're going to expect a lot more points in this game than the Patriots-Broncos matchup.
To me, this game comes down to the quarterbacks. We look at the other game, we think it comes down to the defense. This one comes down to the quarterbacks. And we got Sam Darnold, who has been a comeback story, much better in recent years than in the past. Awesome with the Vikings last year, pretty good with the Seahawks this year. And then you got who's going to be the MVP. Just absolutely stellar the entire season. Leads the league in passing yards and in touchdowns. I think the difference in this game is going to come down to Matt Stafford playing better than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's got a lot of turnovers this season. Leads the league in turnovers. That's probably going to come out again in this game. You just got to expect 1 or 2 to come from him. That's how he plays football. He had a couple turnovers in the 49ers game. Obviously, it doesn't come back to bite him because you're playing, you're 40 points up. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I think Stafford is going to be cleaner with the football, more precise with his decision making. He's got, I would say, better playmakers around him. Obviously, you got JSN over there on the Seahawks, but you look over at the Rams, you got Puka, you got Kyron Williams, you got Devontae Adams. I think it's a more well-rounded core around Matt Stafford. I think the offensive line is a little bit better. I think just in terms of the two offenses, the Rams are much better. Not much better, but they're certainly better.
Yeah.
The Seahawks defense, I would say, is much better than the Rams defense, but Stafford just seems to turn it up when he's playing the Seahawks.
Exactly. This is going to be the third meeting, obviously, between the two teams. I mean, Stafford I think he was really good in those 2 games, and then Darnold had 6 interceptions in the 2 games. So I think that plays a huge factor. Sam Darnold, he has an oblique injury too, so you got to factor that in. So I think Matthew Stafford, like you said, he's just so decisive with the football. Sure, he wasn't the best, against the Chicago Bears, but they were dialing up pressure, the blitzes from the secondary. So I think the Seahawks, they're pretty good in that department, getting pressure to the quarterback. But I think I trust the Rams a lot more, with Stafford than I do with the Seahawks and Sam Darnold. Just, I think Stafford, like you said, I think he's going to win MVP. And Sam Darnold, I think he can get the job done here and there. But again, the turnovers, I feel like you shouldn't put everything on Sam Darnold. I feel like the Seahawks have to run the football. They got to get, moving the sticks like that, short, easy passes for Sam Darnold. But now, Charbonnet is not going to be in this game, so Kenneth Walker is expected to play, 90%, 95% of the snaps. So that puts a lot in Kenneth Walker's, plate. So I think that's going to play a huge role. I think they were really good with the run game against the Rams in those 2 meetings, but now no Charbonnet. So I don't really love that offense as much as I did, during the regular season.
I think Kenneth Walker could certainly be one of the X factors in this game. Charbonnet goes down in that 49ers game, and Kenneth Walker kind of exploded, over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now he's got to do that over an entire game now this time, so he's going to get tired. He's going against a tough defensive front. So can he sustain that over an entire game and be the workhorse that the Seahawks need? I'm not sure. We'll find out, obviously, but I think if he performs at that kind of level, it's certainly going to give you a better chance to win this football game. Now, the Rams have a running back duo that is nothing to scoff at, Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. They've been great all season. They've scored a ton of touchdowns. Kyron Williams is more of your elusive outside the tackle guy, and Blake Corum is going to run you over and stomp on your face. And that was kind of the similar thing that the Seahawks had, where Charbonnet was going to get in there and be your tough guy, and Kenneth Walker was going to go around the outside. Kenneth Walker's got to do that all himself now.
Yeah.
So that's going to take a toll on him. The Rams can divvy things up. They can keep guys rested. That's going to play a factor. A physical game like this where there's going to be a lot of clashing bodies, whoever is, got a less fatigue is certainly going to have a huge edge. Also, we haven't mentioned yet that the Seahawks are the home team here, and they have a massive home team advantage.
Oh, exactly. I mean, just the decibels, it's to the max when it comes to Seattle. So that's going to play a huge role, the crowd noise. I think the big factor in this game is the offensive lines. The trenches, that's always, something you have to look at in games. And the Rams' offensive line is one of the best in the league. And the Seattle Seahawks, I think that's not one of their better units. I really like the Rams' defensive line against the Seahawks' offensive line. And for the Seahawks, in a way to manage that, again, the quick passes, intermediate throws.
Both of these teams are going to be doing their absolute most in practice and meetings up to figure out how to take advantage. Both sides have coordinators that are likely going to end up being head coaches next year. You got Shula, as you mentioned, and then McDonald for the Seahawks is also getting nods. He'll probably end up being a coach from how I've seen the cycle going. So you've got a lot of talent, not just on the field, but also off the field in these games. We know that McVay is an incredible offensive mind. He schemes up crazy things all over the place. So I'm just really looking forward to the product on the field, regardless of who wins this game and who loses. I think it's just going to be an awesome watch for any fan.
Oh, it's going to be a great watch. Like you said, all these candidates are getting looks at. Clint Kubiak is going to be getting looks. So for the Seahawks, I think I have the Rams winning this game. I think just top to bottom, I like the roster more than the Seahawks just for the mainly fact about the offense with the Seattle Seahawks. So I think it's going to be a really close game. I think we said it with the Patriots game, it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close in this one too. And the Rams, it's all about Stafford at the end of the day. I just really trust him a lot more. And, Puka Nacua, I just think he's going to go off in this game. I mean, against Witherspoon, I think he's going to have a really nice matchup there. And you know what? They can use Devontae Adams here and there, the tight end sets they can use, the run game. So there's so many things to like about the Rams offense. I feel like they should have been played a lot better. The Panthers game, the Bears game, I think this is the one. This is a major test, obviously. The Seahawks are only one of the best defenses, if not the best team in the NFC in terms of defense. So it's not going to be easy, but I have the Rams winning this one.
Yeah, the Patriots Broncos game is going to have an over-under probably like in the 40s. I think this one could get closer to 60. So
okay.
I think the last matchup we saw from them was an overtime game where they were both in the 30s of scoring. Obviously, it's rare to get a game that goes into the 60s in point total, but in this kind of high-stakes critical game where both teams are doing everything they can, I think this one's going to get up there. I would bet on it being a really close game, but also a back-and-forth high-scoring. All right, well, we've picked the same for both games here, so it's pretty obvious to tell that we're projecting a Patriots versus Rams Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl that we've seen before, but we think that there might be a different outcome in this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, the previous one was a lot different. You had two great quarterbacks, Jared Goff and obviously Tom Brady. But let's be honest, Goff really wasn't in that same stratosphere as Brady was at the time. This one, you're going to have Stafford, May. These are two MVP candidates. I feel like people are saying May is going to win an MVP, and then people are saying Stafford's going to win. I think Stafford's going to win MVP, 46 passing touchdowns. So I still give the edge to the Rams. I feel like it's probably going to be a 3.5, 4.5, points favored for the Rams. I feel like it's going to be a lot more for the Rams if the Broncos end up winning this game. But the Rams, you can't, you have to credit, the Rams, just the way they run things. They only won the Super Bowl 4 years ago, and you're playing against the Patriots team. Okay, they've had a really good year, obviously, the great record, but they've been beating up on bad competition, throughout the year. They had one of the easiest schedules.
I'm with you. Rams over Patriots in the Super Bowl, but we got to get through these games first. So we'll have a watch and see how they end up. But I think we're probably gonna end up with that kind of result. So that's gonna do it for this week's episode of Ain't That Our Ball. You can catch us every Thursday, and every Monday you can watch our tactics show X's and O's. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let us know who you think is gonna match up in the Super Bowl.